Last time you were on here, you made some comments about Cameron.
Yeah.
And you said that he was snitching in terms of what he said about Jay-Z and so forth. Cameron responded.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
Okay, then you responded.
What I said to him?
I think you said something. I think like Cameron said that, I'm with the bullshit or, something like that. And then you said something like, I like Cameron. I don't want to see him the next rapper slapped or something like that.
Yeah, that's true, though. That's true. Like, I really like Cameron. Like, I listen to Cameron to this day. That's why it hurt me to even say that in public, to really say it. But I'm like, I can't make exceptions for certain people, you know what I mean? With certain things. That's my true feelings, like, you know what I mean? And people, dudes could try to act like, just like I said, maybe he was doing it for entertainment purposes, you know what I mean? I don't know. But, as far as I know, if you get shot and then you say some shit like, yo, the dudes threw the rap sign up over there, that's like pointing in the direction where you need to investigate for police. I know if I was a police officer and I didn't know who shot Cameron, I would be like, oh, okay, let's look that way, you know what I mean? So that's how I took that. But dudes, what I learned about, a lot of people you don't need paperwork to tell on people. That's a fib. That's what people don't know. See, people think just because you didn't testify didn't mean you didn't snitch, you know what I mean? So people always talking about, oh, where's the paperwork? You know how much people told on people ain't no paperwork there? Ain't no paperwork because he didn't testify. You could tell in the precinct and say, yo, this person did that and not testify. You know what I mean? Like, that don't mean you didn't tell. These are all the technicalities the rats are coming up with these days. All these new, oh, no, but if you didn't do that, but if you didn't point at him while you was in the shower on one toe, it's not really telling because you only used your elbow. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, all right. Soon as niggas start talking in all them technical terms, I know what's going on with their life. I just be like, God bless, man. It ain't my place to talk about snitches no more. I'm a citizen.
What do you think about the whole thing with Cameron, Jim Jones, and Dave East, and that whole thing that happened?
Man, that's Cam and Jim, man. They like family. I don't expect them dudes to be, they probably just going through some brother shit and beefing. I don't take it that serious. You know what I mean?
They've been beefing for forever, though. Like, we're not talking about a beef that's been lasting a few months. I mean, this has been going on for what? It's like 6-7 years now?
Has it? Yeah, I guess, and them niggas still love each other. That's why Jim still saying shit to him, and that's why he still responding, and that's love. That's still love there. Like, I wouldn't, I don't think them dudes would, like, shoot each other if they seen each other. They probably wouldn't even fight, you know what I mean? Maybe an argument, you know what I mean? I don't look at it that serious, you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, me personally, I would love to see a Dipset reunion. I mean,
Dipset, like, nobody never in the history of niggerdom wanted to see Dipset break up. Like, that was like the worst shit that happened in New York history. Like, when it was times when, when you didn't care about a whole bunch of motherfuckers that was in the city, like Dipset was there. Like, niggas was Dipset. Women were Dipset. Like, niggas' grandmothers was Dipset. Like, they set the trend of the whole city. So to see them break up, it was like, you just thought nothing was possible. And The Rock and shit like that. You see The Rock break up, then it was Dipset. It was like, that's when I started feeling like everything was perception. Like, man, people take pictures with each other that don't like each other. Like, Taxstone don't do that. You know what I mean?
Well, I'd interviewed J.R. Ryder, who was down with Dipset, and he told me that, like, at what point did you guys go from being a tight-knit family to, people starting to move away and so forth?
It was around the time, it was a little bit after when Cam had the beef with 50. It was a little bit after that. Cam had moved to Orlando, and nobody could contact him, so everybody was like basically doing their own thing.
Niggas blame 50 for every breakup in the history of the world. That's crazy.
It's too bad, man, because I was living in New York when Dipset was like at its height, and I've never seen so much embrace of a rap crew.
That movement was beautiful.
In New York. Like, everyone was, you saw so many little Jewelses sitting on the corner and so many Cameronses, and you went to LA and you go into I remember I went into LA and I went to the Polo store and it was all pink. And I'm like, oh, this is so Cameron right here because of the pink fur. Yeah. Like, there's no other reason for this Beverly Hills Polo store to have pink all over the place.
Nah, they was definitely, they was influences, man. They definitely were staples in New York City. So, especially Jim and Cam, the perception of their brotherhood, you know, was like, you know, like they was like, you know, real brothers. So it's like to see them beef now. But just like I said, it just make you feel like everything that goes on is fake. You know, like even the state property shit, he was like, they didn't know each other, you know. To us, we'd have felt like all of them knew each other, you know what I mean? Like, but the perception of it, you know, it's a picture. A picture could give you an association to somebody that might not be real. That's why I don't take pictures with niggas now. You got niggas that run around New York City just taking pictures with people all day, ending up in indictments because they want to be down with niggas because they look like they got money. Niggas be whole rats.
Mm. Well, speaking of state property, you had 2 interviews with Beanie Sigel.
Yeah.
What do you think was the effect of those interviews?
Shit, man, like it brought a lot of attention, man. Definitely brought a lot of attention, man. The first Beans interview was great. The second Beans interview was like cinematic. Like I got calls from people everywhere, like from my people in London, like everybody just was like, yo, Tax, like this is like the best shit I ever heard. And they was like, you shut the fuck up through the whole interview. That made it better.
Well, when Charlamagne interviewed Beanie, he said that he thought that Beanie sounded snakish in your podcast.
Yeah.
How did you take that?
I understood. You know, from, you know, you hear like they put the audio tape out recently of Beans talking like Game and the other dudes from the West Coast, and you know, you hear him basically like he was saying stuff like, you know what I mean, like he ain't do nothing for me, you know what I mean, or so it sound like, you know, his only motives is like, yo, I need you to do something for me, and then he brought up the, you know, so yeah, I understood it. I definitely understood it.
Well, when they brought up the whole thing about how Beanie met, you know, went to go see Meek in the studio because he was trying to hook up a show and trying to get a cut off that show, I was like, damn, this is where Beanie Sigel is at in life right now. And this is something I talked to when I interviewed Beanie. Like at one point, Jay-Z said that Beanie Sigel will go down as one of the all-time greats up there with Tupac. Mm-hmm. And at the time that he said it, we all believed it because we all felt that way. And to see that he didn't achieve that and see where he's pressing dudes over getting a cut of a TV show, I mean, over a show is sort of like, damn, like it's disappointing.
Yeah, you know, like when you really look at it, because you know at first like Beans said certain things, and I do believe Beans, you know what I mean, about a lot of things he said, but it's a lot of inconsistencies also, you know what I mean, like so it's like now it looks like you don't know really what the motive was of him trying to get next to Meek. It might have definitely been he wanted that 15,000 for the show, you know what I mean, and
yeah,
because you know he said on Breakfast Club that he wrote the records, it was a reference track. And I was like, you know, when he told me, he was like, he wrote some bars and then he didn't write everything. And then it kind of like hit me. I was like, wait up, if that was a reference track, who was coming out of retirement? Because he said on the record, please don't bring me out of retirement. I'm like, who was coming if it was a reference track? You understand what I'm saying? So it was some inconsistencies in it, and I think it's because of hurt, you know what I mean? And it might be on both ends, you know what I mean? Like, I don't, you know, both sides might not be telling the full truth, you know what I mean? But I definitely seen the inconsistencies in the story.
What'd you think of the video where Beans got knocked down?
That was crazy. That was crazy. You know, we always, you know, Beans is a fucking legend. Like, Beans raised me, you know. I told motherfuckers Beans was one of the tapes in jail that nobody could borrow. You know what I mean? You can't borrow Life After Death. You can't borrow Reasonable Doubt. You can't borrow The Truth. You know what I mean? And The Reason, you couldn't borrow those. You know what I mean? It's just certain tapes you can't borrow, and he was one of them. So to see that happen, it was like, damn, but it wasn't I wasn't heartbroken or nothing. Like, I seen dudes on the internet like, I could never listen to him again. I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you think gangsters don't get knocked out? You think gangsters don't get shot? You think gangsters don't get beat up? You think gangsters don't get jumped? Like, gangsters get harmed too. Gangsters have scars. You understand what I'm saying? So it was. I didn't look at that like it was, oh, you took a loss, nigga, go get a win. That's how I go. It ain't about the loss. It's about what you do after the loss to define you.
Well, what'd you think of the way that Beanie was going at Charlamagne? The way he was like finger pointing and basically
I
talking shit.
I knew Beans had some animosity because he kept telling me, he like, that nigga Charlamagne, he wouldn't even open his mouth to say, that nigga Charlamagne. So, Charlamagne my man, but so many people come to Charlamagne. I told niggas if I was to, like, literally try to defend Charlamagne against everybody that had something to say about that motherfucker, I'd be fighting people all day, and I'm just not doing it, you know what I mean? So, but, yeah, like, when I seen it, like, I didn't really understand his aggression, but I thought that Beans should have smacked Charlamagne. You know what I mean?
You thought that Beanie Sigel should have hit Charlamagne.
That's a fact. When Beans said he was serious and don't play with no little boy or whatever, and Charlamagne sat there and said, and clapped in his face, that's immediate ping pong, boom, boom, boom. That was the disrespectfulest part of the interview. So when people were saying that Beans punked Charlamagne, I didn't understand. I seen Charlamagne punk Beans. I was like, that was beyond disrespectful. You talking to a man about some serious shit and he starts clapping his hands? He didn't take Beanie Sigel seriously. And I think if you watch the interview, you'll see that through the whole interview, he didn't take Beanie Sigel seriously. After a dude tell you he's certified and got attempts and got this and got that, and he do this and he's serious with you, and you not a man, and this dude and that, and then you clap in his face, holy shit. That was one of the top 5 most disrespectful things I seen in an interview.
Yeah, no, Charlamagne actually pokes at people. Like that's what I think is different in terms of my style and his, because we interview some of the same people. But my goal is to get a person to feel comfortable and to open up. Whereas Charlamagne, I think, likes to poke at people and get them riled up. And that's just the difference in interview style. And I think we're both good at what we do.
But Charlamagne, he had his points, and there was certain things that he looked at and he watched and he felt like, yo, man, that shit ain't right. You're not right about this. You know what I mean? He told me from jump, I think from, man, I don't know. Yeah, he told me from like the beginning of it. He was like, yo, it sounds like he's hating on Meek Mill. You know what I mean? And and he needed Meek Mill, and he's mad because Meek Mill didn't let him use him. You know what I mean? And, that's the way it seems now.